So here's a little angel. Thought he would, I don't know, vandalize your little Cybertruck. Take a good look at that guy, and let's see what we can do about finding him. I think somebody probably knows who this guy is out there.
Yeah.
And then here's another one. This guy, oh, he doesn't like Elon, so he's been putting on these Elon is a Nazi salute stickers.
From my heart to yours.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is a Democrat who owns this particular Cybertruck, or whether it is, not that it matters, because this is I don't know who your Elon doesn't own this Cybertruck anymore. Does he not get that?
He doesn't know.
Yeah. And then this little angel also, he's kind of coming up. This was he keyed this Cybertruck, and look what he did. He has this big. I don't know what this is. You know, that's a 3-year-old handwriting right there, or something. Or,
well, I'm glad he wore a hood.
Yeah, well, it's a little chilly up there in the North Dakota. So it just is amazing to me that all of these people think that when they don't like something on the right, of course, you know, we all are buying products that are from companies that we don't agree with their politics and their stands, because you almost can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you buy, you know, Apple, or you buy Microsoft, or you have to buy, you know, you need those for computers, and you need, I don't know, a cell phone service. And so, you know, Verizon, AT&T, all of that, they're not conservatives as far as I know. There's very, very few large companies out there. So, but we still buy their products and still use it, even though we disagree with the politics, right?
Yeah, products are products, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's okay, apparently, for people on the left, on the Democrat side, when they're pissed off with something, they do shit like this, and they're burning Teslas. We've all seen the videos. We don't need to rehash all that. But you've seen the videos of Tesla dealerships vandalized and lighting Cybertruck. I mean, this is domestic terrorism.
Question of the day: when does propaganda turn to domestic terrorism? Where's the line?
Where is the line? We're going to discuss that and a couple other things about the whole Tesla issue and the vandalism and what's going on with that on today's podcast. Welcome to the Rude Barn Podcast. Let's get into this.
Let's dive in.
All right. Welcome to the Rude Barn Podcast. I am the Barn. And look who I have over here.
I'm the Rude. What's up, gang?
Welcome to the Rude Barn Podcast. So today we're talking about the Teslas. We're going to throw our 2 cents in on this. This has been going on for a while, but that's the reason we're talking about it, because it's still going on.
Yeah.
These unhinged, mentally deranged people on the left, with the blue hairs, with the piercings all over their faces, with God knows what. And it's not even just them. It's them plus people like those guys you saw right in the intro of the show, coming up and destroying your car, your property, because they don't like the owner who built that particular product for you. Does that sound right? Does that sound like that's a good thing that we should be doing in this country? When we disagree with somebody on the other side, we come in and we destroy
their property. Yeah. I mean, is that what we're doing now?
Apparently, I mean, that's what we're doing.
I don't like how the party of peace and inclusion.
Oh yeah, and tolerance.
This is that party. Yeah. This is they've put out enough propaganda to where, okay, we saw all 3 of those individuals destroying property. Why? Okay, why are they doing that? Why do they feel compelled to make a statement in this way?
Right.
Well, my opinion is that they've been so indoctrinated with bullshit and propaganda
Yeah.
that they turn into these quote unquote little soldiers. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think
Little
that
minions. Yeah.
right, and I think that was
Useful idiots. I think
that's the whole goal.
Yeah.
I mean, we sit and watch Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean? He
Mhm.
visits colleges and he talks to these young people, and to see the
disrespect,
level,
first of all, when they're trying to have a discussion with him.
well, that too, but the level of delusion,
Yeah.
is staggering to me.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely staggering. You know what I mean? And what bothers me, and maybe I'm going off on a left road here, but what bothers me is so you have that level of delusion, but these are our future leaders, and that is
I hope not.
fucking scary.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, oh my God, you are the future. The children are our future.
Well, and that's
Not
kind
these children, I hope.
that's the whole thing. And now that an actual party that is using their brain and for the most part, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's not
90
perfect, but
90%, on the level and on the line, is in power now. Hopefully, I guess the people of our era, you know what I mean, in our age group, can really kind of make their voices heard
yeah.
and really put an end to this bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's just crazy that we can't just disagree with somebody about something and leave it at that.
Mhm.
It's like, well, we didn't like what is happening there, but I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to burn down the freaking building because I don't like what that is. That's not how it works. And we're going to get into this a little bit because people are, a lot of people are trying to, really make conservatives out to be hypocrites or make them out to be, well, you're doing the same thing we are type of thing. It's like, and they're comparing the whole Bud Light boycott to the vandalism that's going on with the Tesla trucks and cars and everything like that. And it's just ridiculous. But before we get into that, we're going to talk to, we're not going to talk to, but someone has talked to Steve Hilton on the Fox News show and is talking to him about this whole thing, and this is what he has to say, and then we'll make a comment.
Fox News contributor. I am so glad, first of all, that this guy's been slapped with federal charges, because this is domestic terrorism, as the White House has called it.
Yes, it
People
is.
think they can take it out on private car owners, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's
Look
how
at
you plan on getting back at the government? Try again.
It's totally unbelievable. It's outrageous. It's the Tesla terrorism. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And as Elon said, they're not getting at him. They're getting at people who've got nothing to do.
And that's just Tesla terrorism. It's just terrorism in general, and this just happens to be focused on this because remember the BLM riots after George Floyd, and the burning down of cities, and
Elon's not doing anything to anybody. Elon is heading up a
department.
A department. Yeah, that was formed by the administration, which, by the way, Obama he opined for, and so did Hillary. You know what I mean? On both their trails, Obama said it like while he was president. This the swamp needs to be cleared, and we're gonna do everything
out of Washington.
And we're gonna get the waste out of Washington, and all this, but and it was totally okay then, right?
Yeah, weird how that works.
But now that they're actually doing it and not just saying it and blowing smoke, now that they're actually doing it, now we got a problem with it, and we have to turn this into a whole thing and turn a whole party or their followers or something against like one person.
Yeah.
And this person just happens to be, one of the richest people in America that owns multiple businesses, not just Tesla, and turning it on his product to unsuspecting owners who have nothing to do with anything. You know what I mean? And they're the real victims here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they hate billionaires now.
Yeah, and Elon's not the victim.
Wait, but they're okay with Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and you know, and Pritzker. JB Pritzker is a billionaire, governor of fucking Illinois. That fat fuck. You know, I mean, but they're okay with those billionaires. So it's not the billionaire thing, people. It is the conservative versus liberal, or Republican versus Democrat. It doesn't matter. You can be a black guy, and they're all about people of color, black guy. But if he's conservative, he's a pariah. And it doesn't matter what race, whatever it is. They're all for, as long as they're on your side. But once they're on the other side, they're. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask, is it because they are not getting the credit for actually doing something about it, and so they're trying to sabotage Trump, who's actually making progress to drain the swamp or to cut the waste in Washington? What do you think about that?
I got huge thoughts on that. My thing is on that is they're running scared, because what's happening is their slush funds are going away.
Yeah,
and there are paper and digital trails that implicate expose them and implicate them in dirty laundering fucking schemes, and they're scared, and they're trying to blow all the smoke. Hey, look over here, so we can scramble and try to get out of out of the spotlight, because we're all the lights are going to be shone on the rats.
Oh yeah,
and these rats include.
We'll let you come in. But give us 30 days to kind of, clean up a little bit.
Yeah. They haven't cleaned out their closets yet, and I think that this is a big push to try to do a bunch of smoke and mirrors, so they can try to clean out their closets, so it doesn't implicate them as bad. Yeah. When the hammer comes down on those involved,
and they can continue the cash cow.
That's the thing. That's the long and short of it. And they're turning this into a hate campaign against Elon and Doge, because they're going to get exposed. It's like we've said before, it's classic gaslighting. It's classic smoke and mirrors, and it's classic. Hey, let's turn this man bad so we can, like I said, try to clean our closets before we get sent to federal prison for the rest of our lives. You know what I mean?
Check out what's happening here, people. Look at all the Teslas being. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, they're doing this other shit. While we're bothered looking at what's going on with the Tesla crap and with all this other crap, the Signal Gate and all the other shit we talked about in the last podcast. Meanwhile, here, look at all this shit here. Meanwhile, we're doing this shit down here.
Well, can you imagine, Barn, if the tables were turned? Like, come on, man. I mean, can you imagine how blown out of proportion this would be if it was the other way around? Like, the
Republicans are keeping us from progressing in this world. Whatever the hell thing you're going to use,
dude. Look at they're just trying to find another J6. But you compare it. So one thing that I hadn't heard, which I thought about, I was like, compare this to J6. Okay,
right.
So they made a big old deal about something that was nothing. Right,
another nothing burger. Right,
another nothing burger. But it's okay to burn down other people's property in the name of Elon hate.
Yeah.
That's okay, right? And nobody on that side is stepping up and saying, no, this is wrong. This is hey, everybody
where's Schumer?
This, stop the exactly. Where's Schumer? Where is the where's the outrage on their side for this?
Yeah, where's the Democrat leadership? Where's AOC? Where's that little bitch?
Yeah.
Why isn't she going, you know what? We disagree with Elon, but maybe you guys shouldn't be burning Teslas down.
Right?
With her little horse face.
Zero outrage from that camp. Zero.
Yeah.
This
And
is okay.
ask yourselves that. You Democrat voters out there, ask yourself that. If you think, and you're a Democrat voter, and you think that, you know what, this doesn't seem right that we are allowing these people to burn people's property down and to burn a Tesla dealership all over the place and to do all this other thing, maybe that's not a thing. Have you heard anything coming out of any of your Democrat leadership denouncing this at all? Have you? Because I don't think you have. And let's continue on with this video a little bit more, and then we're going to get into where they start trying to compare what Republicans do, boycotting and just not purchasing a product or service, compared to where people are outraged and they're burning the city down and they're destroying people's property because they don't like the man who
we don't like
charge of it. Yeah. It's like, oh my God.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, if you think about it, the hypocrisy here is unreal, because you have Democrats that are lashing out on Tesla, which is like the lead electric vehicle company in this country, and they were backing that. In fact, I recall in the last administration, they were trying to get rid of gas guzzlers and pushing people toward electric cars.
Which they're still doing all over the country, particularly in California, where Tesla obviously is based. But the thing is that there's another layer of hypocrisy, which is the Democrats aren't even condemning this.
No,
after all their
Just
lectures
said
on protecting our democracy and standing up for the rule of law and attacking Trump for inciting violence, where are they? There's not a single one. There's one, Ro Khanna, who I know. He's to be fair, has spoken up.
Right.
The only one among the Democrats. It's outrageous.
I think now that they see that there are going to be consequences, because in the past administration, you commit a crime in this country.
Yeah, they were getting away with murder almost.
We'll see this tamper down a bit, and people will catch on and realize how stupid their terrorist acts are. The Trump administration, meantime, is investigating the California Department of Education. I'm dying to talk.
Yeah, and it goes on, but I mean, they're absolutely right, and we mentioned it prior to them just mentioning it. That where is the Ro Khanna? You're a Democrat. Thank you for standing up. I will applaud you for having the balls to say, you know what, this isn't right, people. Our party should not be this, and we should not allow these people who somehow are getting their marching orders, I'm guessing, from somebody somewhere.
Yeah, where are you getting it from?
Because do you think really these douchebags who are vandalizing the property and doing that thought about doing that prior to somebody saying, hey, I wonder, gosh, it sure would be a shame if a Tesla dealership went up in flames.
Right, yeah.
Or Tesla cars got vandalized. Maybe you won't buy Tesla cars now because they're afraid that somebody could vandalize them, and then Elon's stock will go way down. Oddly enough, his stock has gone like 20% higher.
Yeah.
You fucking morons. I mean, my God, Jesus.
Well, you're right. I mean, who's giving them these orders? Because nobody was thinking about doing this, and even it just goes to show. So the last administration, they're pushing so hard to get rid of the gas guzzlers. They were going to they were even talking about a tax, an extra tax if you owned a gas vehicle,
right? Which is just unconstitutional and immoral and everything,
right?
On its face.
But now, and guess what? The conservatives were not doing. They weren't setting EV companies' headquarters on fire
because they want their gas guzzling trucks. Yeah, right.
But we weren't doing that. You know what I mean? No. I mean, just to fight the men and fight the power and fight the tax, fight the gas tax. You know what I mean? I mean, they were even shutting down pipelines, bro.
Well, that was day one that Biden did. He
Exactly.
shut down the Keystone XL pipeline, which could have saved hundreds and hundreds of millions of gallons of oil that we didn't have to import into this country, that we were getting from Canada, and all that, and bringing that in there. And it had, I don't know, a couple 100,000 high-paying jobs, or 50,000, whatever it was, high-paying jobs for Americans. And Biden cut that off at the knees day one.
I mean, and that was started. that started the downfall of our economic downfall.
Yeah.
I mean, almost to the point to the Great Recession. Yeah, I mean it was that bad. I mean, we're climbing out of that pit now, but it's still bad. And the thing is we're only going to get to a certain level. I mean, it's never going to be back to before COVID, but at the same time, we've already accepted that, right?
Yeah.
But like you were saying, the difference between protests in general is mind-boggling. Yes, and that's and this is
building is burning down behind him. Yeah,
they're supposed to be the party of peace and inclusion. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they're the biggest hypocrites. And then they throw out memes like this that are just hilarious. Yeah. Oh my God, boycott Bud Light, boycott Target. And they just sit there like, okay, whatever, MAGA. Boycott the NFL. Oh, okay, MAGA. And then he mentioned boycott Tesla, and then we go insane about that?
Right.
I'm sorry. This is a perfect example of how the left is unhinged and out of touch with reality.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
This is how they think we're unhinged about boycott Tesla and we go insane. I'm sorry, we're not the ones burning the freaking cars down in the dealerships and spray painting everything and destroying other people's property.
All we did was stop giving these companies money. That's all we did.
Yeah, it's called
stop giving them money.
Speaking with your wallet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's you can read this. I'll put all these links in the chat in the description for us so you can follow it. But that's a perfect example. That goes right into what we're talking about, how they're trying to compare how we protested Bud Light. It's the same as these guys protesting Tesla. Is it?
It's delusional, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's absolutely delusional.
Yeah, was Kid Rock? Kid Rock was the only one that set up a ton of Bud Light on a table that he bought himself and put on a table and then shot it with some guns.
Yeah.
And that's the violence you're talking about. As far as I know, that was the only violence against Bud Light. But you know what? He already bought the product, so therefore he can do with it what he wants. If you have a Tesla and you don't like it and you burn your own car, that's one thing. But when you're somebody else burning your car, that's completely different and unacceptable, and you should be put in jail or prison or the gulag.
You should.
Siberia. Send you to Siberia. Prison in Siberia. Why the hell not?
Yeah. I mean, teach them a lesson. And that's kind of the thing that I'm, that I agree with the administration, bringing it to the point of terrorism.
Yes.
I was kind of on the fence with that. I'm like, is it? I mean, do we need to go that far? But
look at it.
But look at it. Like okay, like if it would have went on, like one or two incidents happened, okay, that's when I was on the fence. Right. I was like, hey, I mean, really,
but you should be definitely on that side of the fence now, where you say, yes, it's definitely terrorism.
It's not really terrorism. You know what I mean? I mean,
well, it's definitely vandalism.
These, it's definitely vandalism, definitely a crime. But is it terrorism? And then it just kept going and going and going
and spreading with more and more people.
And then it got bigger and bigger. They were doing it, they started doing it to the headquarters and these dealerships, where the trickle down with that is it's not just ruining the product. Now you're ruining lives, because those people can't go to work. Okay.
People are afraid to drive their cars because they don't want to get that vandalized. So that's putting a damper on how they live their lives. So in a sense, isn't that the definition of terrorism?
It really is. And that's when it turned a corner for me. Yeah. I was like, well, when you're doing this and you are exactly what you said, Barn, when you are affecting how people are going about their lives and their day, and whether they feel safe or not in their own environment, that's when it kind of turns into a terrorism thing. You know what I mean?
Well, Rude, you brought this up when I talked about my accident that it was rear-ended, no fault of my own, and it affects how I think about out driving. I'm always looking in the rearview mirror when I come up to a stoplight or somewhere, and I have to stop suddenly, and I'm hoping that somebody doesn't smash into me again. This was my third time, by the way, over the years that I've been rear-ended. Not my fault, of course. You know,
this isn't the first time, yeah.
And it affects. It's like, okay, and I was talking about, you know, getting one of those Can-Ams, the two wheels in the front, and the one in the back. And what if I was on that when this, because it totaled my car. And if I was on that, I would have been hurt. If my wife was on the back of that and we're sitting and she got injured, I mean, it is basically, even though inadvertently, it is a form of terrorism where now I have to think how I live my life and what I do now. And it's the same thing with these people. It's like, I don't want to drive my Tesla out there because I don't want somebody to spray paint it when I'm at the Walmart. Or wherever. And it's,
another thing too. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and him and his wife, they own a Tesla, and really, I mean, this just goes to show how there are actually people being affected by this. And the humanity that is robbed from your daily life. They have 4 children. She takes the kids to school in this Tesla every day. Now she is constantly
heads on a swivel, man.
Head on a swivel because you don't know. Could she be the next target? And you look at
all it takes is one also.
Yeah, you look at the people in your neighborhood. You don't know whether they're conservative or Democrat. You don't know.
Yeah,
and
or whether
so
they
like,
take this position, this extreme position,
yeah, is somebody looking at me out the window, just targeting me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that again, that takes away from your
right to life, your quality of life, your sense of well-being and safety. I guess.
Safety, in your safety in your own neighborhood, in your own home. You know what I mean?
There's enough dangers out there as it is. We don't need to have this add to that bullshit.
Right.
And then you have these Dems that just sit here and try to justify this. Like I said before with the whole Bud Light boycott. It is not the same. We don't buy the product. That's different than we're destroying the product that you bought. And so here's Jessica Tarlov on The 5, and this is a prime example of somebody who's not a stupid person, but her ideas and her beliefs and everything are a little out of whack on this whole thing. And let's listen to what she has to say, because man, you're just gonna be like, oh my God, did she just say that?
I mean, I like The 5, but I didn't.
I know. Wait till you listen to Gutfeld's
I think Starlink is one of the more exciting modern discoveries or creations that there is. I, again, reiterate, I draw the line at arson. No one should be setting cars on fire.
Thank you, Jess.
But I would argue,
this
is an important point. It's a free market point. But also, we talked about Dylan Mulvaney, a single trans influencer who was on a single can of beer for months.
Yeah, this is
and that can of beer set the conservative movement on proverbial fire, rooting against at least half an American company, the Anheuser-Busch side of things. Kid Rock out there doing target practice with Budweiser cans, people vowing to decimate that brand. And Dylan Mulvaney has much less of an impact on people's lives than Elon Musk does.
But what did they do to decimate that brand, Jess? Did they just not buy it, I think is what happened?
They didn't set
the factory on fire.
Warehouses on fire. You know what I mean?
Did we blow up the delivery trucks, bringing Bud Light to 7-Eleven and everything?
Right. I mean, they very well could have, but they
I don't
didn't.
think so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nice try, Jess. But let's listen a little bit more of what you have to say, and then Greg Gutfeld's responses. Classic.
So is that okay? Or that was wrong too, and everyone wants to mea culpa over that. It was one can of beer with one transgender person on it.
No one was intimidated not to buy Bud Light.
Really? Then why did it drop?
No,
why did they lose market value?
Because it wasn't Dylan Mulvaney. It was the marketing person who denigrated the people who drank the beer.
Really, Dylan Mulvaney didn't get denigrated?
She did. He did.
Sorry.
I correct myself.
It's good that you
no, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's basically it. Also on.
And that is basically it. That's about all you have to say about that, because there's nothing else you can say, Jessica.
Well, there's no comparison, and trying to make a comparison just makes you just look even more. Again, I'm sorry, but maybe this is the word of the day. It's delusional.
Yeah.
And just completely insane. I mean, if you're if really this is the stance that you're taking,
trying to compare what you're doing to what we did, and I say we conservatives, I mean, and
well, yeah, but I mean, if you're really backing this, like, you've got bigger issues, my friend.
Oh yeah,
because I mean, if this is okay, because your
values or morals are way off.
Yes. Because we stopped supporting a brand. I mean, you've got to be on the moon. It's insane, dude.
You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Before you
really do, but you really do. Yeah,
you do.
You do. Yeah. So here's one last one. This is kind of this gal's take on exactly what we're saying, and it's sad how we can't disagree, and that a boycott turns into destroying Teslas and whatnot, because it really is a sad state of where we're going. And if we don't right this ship soon, we're going to sail off the edge of the world and fall off into, that's if you're a flat earther. Anyway, so you kind of know what I'm saying. So here, let's listen to what she has.
Agreed on, we're not okay. And in recent years, I feel like boycotting has definitely become a very popular way to let people know if you disagree with them or agree with them
good way,
politically. And we obviously saw this happen with Bud Light when we had, this organization that came out and supported an ideology that the vast majority of America had already made known that they completely disagreed with. Yet for some reason, they ran full speed head first into this. And of course, using one of the most controversial figures at the time, which was Dylan Mulvaney. So, it's not that we wanted Bud Light to fail or that we wanted to see people's lives destroyed over this. We just said, we don't agree with what you're doing. And since you are demonstrating your disrespect for the vast majority of the country that does not agree with what it is that you're pushing, we're going to take our money and our dollars elsewhere. That is the form of protest that we are going to demonstrate against you. That's the kind of protest that I think a lot of us can agree is perfectly fine. We also agree that going out and writing your messages on a poster board and making it known, whatever it is that you disagree with or agree with that day. Those are the things that are known as peaceful protests. But what we're seeing now, as we know, particularly when it comes to the left, is the fact that they really feel like destruction is a valid way to channel their frustrations, and they don't hesitate to resort to it whenever they feel like it, especially whenever they don't get their way. And that is what we are seeing now with these Tesla protests, with these Tesla dealership burnings, with burning down charging stations, and even attacking innocent people as they're just driving around in these vehicles that they purchased with their own money, sending a message that they're willing to even put innocent people in danger if it sends the message that they feel they are justified in sending.
I mean, dude, she literally just wrapped up our whole episode right there.
Yeah, and I think we're done. Thanks for showing up, everybody. We appreciate it. We'll see you on the next episode. Same bat times, same bat channels. If you know, you know.
Same bat crazy ass motherfuckers.
I'm being the same batshit crazy motherfucker.
I mean, that really brings it down to the foundation. It really is. I mean, there's no excuse for it, and there's no justification for it. Barn.
But these people need to be punished, though, dude. If you don't punish a wrongdoing, it will continue. When you don't punish your child for whatever it is they were doing, throwing a tantrum or wanting this, that, or doing something they know they're not supposed to, they're going to continue to do it, right?
Dude, this is the direct result of taking away spanking
Yes.
And turning it into timeout.
Yes.
This is the result.
And you think about what you did. But I'm not going to spank you.
Have you thought about what you did? No, you blister their ass.
Yeah. So this is the world we're
this
getting.
shit, and this just doesn't happen. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now we're what? We're 20 years later, Barn, of when we couldn't spank our kids anymore.
Yeah.
You had to put them in timeout.
But these same parents are still in charge and are still allowing this too. That's the problem. We don't have the other people coming in and saying, you know what? No, this is wrong. So they're still getting away with this shit. And this is why we finally have the adults back in the White House. Biden, you weren't the adult, and none of your administration was.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like when we say, "Oh, Daddy's back," you know what I mean? And we're half joking. Yeah, we're half joking about that. But the other side of that half joke is the truth, and that's how we feel, because now, you know what I mean, we have authority back, and we lost. Consequences. Our authority and consequences and being, strong, hard individuals that stick to our morals and teach our children that, you know what I mean? That's been chipped away at. They've been hitting it with an axe for so goddamn long, that, and trying to, I don't know, throw paint on it. You know what I mean? For so long. Now we're like, no, this is the right thing to do. And when you don't do that, look at what you've caused. You know what I mean? Right. Look at the result. This is what you get.
You have grown up children who are acting like children, who are throwing a tantrum because they can't get their way. And their tantrums are a little worse than sitting down on the ground in the middle of the grocery store because they didn't get the candy bar that they wanted because you didn't give it to them. And they're like, meh. Now they're doing shit like this, and they've escalated their tantrums. And we're all paying for it now. And it sucks. And these people need to be put in jail. They need to be arrested. They need to be punished. This behavior cannot continue. And here's the problem. If we don't start doing that, then somebody else out there may say, our opinion only, and we're merely speculating, that somebody may take justice into their own hands and make the punishment for these people worse than it would have been if the police just came and arrested these effers. And now you're putting people possibly in some danger they shouldn't be in.
Well, that's the thing. What is it going to take, Barn, for the left to step up and say this is not right? It's going to take lives lost, and that is shameful.
Nobody wants to see that.
As shameful as you can ever be, and you can ever think of. And what are you going to do? Are they just going to turn the cheek and say, "You're good, you're good, you're good," and then
happened before?
And then somebody loses their life, and then what? How are you going to spin that?
Right.
How are you going to gaslight us into thinking that was justified?
Yeah. Well, with the big bad Republican conservatives, are evil people who don't allow people freedom of speech and freedom of expression.
They made us.
This is how they're going to turn this.
They brought us to this. Bullshit.
It's ridiculous. Well, gang, we are going to wrap this up because I don't know how much. We can go on and beat a dead horse. Better than
we could throw this baby against the wall all day.
Oh yeah, but we're gonna wrap this up. Keep it kind of short and sweet. We're trying to compartmentalize these podcasts and not be so drony and go on and on and on. Although that's fun too when we're really getting in some other topics that really are, we'll get into some. Trust me, there'll be longer ones. But we appreciate you stopping by, and please like, subscribe, and share the video to help us grow the channel. We'd love to reach more of you. And hopefully our entertaining expressions and opinions are out there that you can enjoy and have fun watching about a topic that is kind of mundane and serious. We'll try to lighten it up and kind of give a perspective that makes it a little more fun.
And if you really want to have fun, check out therudebarn.etsy.com. grab some of our merch. We have fun merch. We joke about this kind of thing, and we do it in our merch as well. And so support
We
the
gotta
channel.
put some more up. I haven't had a chance, and you haven't had a chance to put many up yet, but we'll add more and more. Just keep checking back if there's nothing on there you like, and I hope there's something you do like on there.
Well, we like to have fun with it, and it helps us do these, and we like to do it for fun. Obviously, these are our opinions, and we do it for entertainment. But it helps, you know.
Yeah, and we just like to question everything. That's what we're trying to say. Question everything. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why? Be like that little kid. Why is the sky blue? Well, because of the well, why? Well, why? Well, why? Be that annoying kid and keep asking questions until you get the answers that you are satisfied with.
Yeah.
But don't be like Caitlin Collins and keep asking a question over and over again, like we did in the last video about the signal gate. I've already asked, and I've answered that 3 times for you, Caitlin. Why don't you shut the fuck up? Anyway. All right, gang. Thanks for joining the Root Barn podcast. Check out the Etsy store, therootbarn.etsy.com. Check out the Bearded Viking. That's one of our partners, guys that we work with, who are putting out some awesome mead products. And I'll put a screenshot up here on the video edit when we get in there. And check out the VOC, the Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys over there on the Rumble. Helping out with the mental health of men and women, but a lot of vets come home with PTSD or things like that. Even just everyday people who are struggling with everyday problems. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing to help out with, right, Rude? Tell them a little bit more about it, and then we'll wrap this up and get out of here.
It is really good. We provide a space where people can be open and not judged about their feelings, and a lot of deep stuff that people don't like to talk about. We like to talk about it because mental health is important, and it affects everybody and everybody around everybody. So if we can help get that kind of thing in order, maybe we can help kids stop burning down dustbins.
That would be great. You're doing great work, so let's keep it up.
We're doing our best.
Yeah, doing our best. All right. Thanks, gang. We appreciate it. We'll see you on the next podcast, and thanks for joining us, and have a good one.
Question everything, gang.